Men, listen up right now. Lean in close because we need to talk about the traps you keep walking into. And I'm not talking about the obvious ones with neon warning signs, but the subtle psychological traps that look like romance but erode your confidence until you're just an empty shell of yourself. Today we're breaking down the 9 traps that alpha men avoid when dealing with women, so you can stay grounded and clear. Some women set these traps intentionally, others learned them from past relationships, but most are running autopilot patterns they don't even understand themselves. But this isn't your typical dating advice. This is your wake-up call. Trap number 9, chasing instead of leading, from prize to puppy. When you chase, you transform yourself from the prize into the puppy begging for scraps. This trap starts subtly. She pulls away a little, takes longer to reply, seems distracted on dates. Instead of noticing this and staying centered, you panic. You start doing more messages, more reassurance, more effort, more pursuit. You think, if I just show her how serious I am, she'll choose me. But what she actually sees, a man trying to earn what should be mutual, a man questioning his own value, a man operating from scarcity, not abundance. Example, you text her, "Good morning," no reply. By lunch, you text again, still nothing. By evening, you send a long message checking in, hoping you didn't offend or upset her. From your side, it's concern. From her side, it's emotional begging. You're the one asking, "Is everything okay?" while she acts distant. Over time, her respect for you drops, and when respect drops, attraction follows right behind it. Here's the truth. Leading means you're already walking with purpose and she's joining your path. You're not adjusting your entire route, hoping she'll notice you care. Now, I hear you saying, what about women who are avoidant attached? Did I stutter? No. You can't fix her attachment issues, and chasing her only makes it worse. You can support her efforts to fix her own attachment wounds, but alpha men keep moving on their own paths and let her catch up to them. But here's where most men lose the game before it even starts. They think that persistence equals strength. It doesn't. It equals desperation masked as dedication, and she can smell that from a mile away. The shift you need to make. Stop asking for permission to exist in her world. Start building a world so compelling that she wants access to it. Alpha men don't chase. They attract. They lead. They move with purpose. And if she doesn't follow, there are women who will. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is the moment where many men unconsciously give away their power before they've even met the woman. And from there, the game runs against them. Trap number 8, becoming her emotional fixer. You're her man, not her mechanic. She's upset, stressed, anxious, so she starts talking. You hear her problem, you offer a solution. Logical, clean, efficient. Except it doesn't work that way, because women are emotional creatures, not logical ones. In that moment, she doesn't need a repair. She needs understanding and presence. She needs to feel that you can handle her emotional weather without shutting her down or rushing her to problem solved. Example, you meet up and she says, "My coworker embarrassed me in front of the whole team." And you jump in with, "Talk to HR, just ignore her, don't let it bother you." To you, these are stellar solutions, but she gets even more upset. Why? Not because your advice is wrong, but because you brushed aside her feelings. Over time, she starts saying things like, "You never listen," or "You don't understand me," even though you do listen and respond with solid ideas. What she really means, "You skip my emotions and go straight to solutions."
Why do you always do this?
She feels alone in her feelings. You feel exhausted because nothing you suggest feels good enough.
No, you're not.
Here's what
You're just
alpha men do
waiting for me to
differently.
finish.
They pause. They mirror
I'm trying
back
to
what they
explain
hear.
how I feel, but you're
Wow,
not
that sounds
listening.
rough.
Okay, hold on.
That would be
The way to
annoying.
fix this is
Then they
simple.
ask, "Do you want me to just
need to
listen,
focus on
or do
the
you want
steps
some
I gave
ideas?"
you.
Just the tip. Sometimes the most effective thing you can give isn't a solution. It's steady emotional presence. But here's the dangerous part. If you become her emotional mechanic, you stop being her man. She starts seeing you as a utility, someone who fixes things, not someone who makes her feel alive. And when that happens, she'll find excitement somewhere else. Alpha men know they don't have to fix or change a woman's current emotional state. They know how to sit with her emotions without being consumed by them. That's real strength. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is where men unknowingly hand over their masculine frame and wonder why she stops seeing them as a challenge worth winning. Trap number 7, failing her tests. She's not testing to hurt you, she's testing to feel safe. Testing is wired into female psychology. She needs to know your confidence is real, not manufactured. She'll never say, "Now I will test your emotional stability." No, she'll simply do things, say things, delay things, and pay close attention to your reaction. Example, she says, "Wow, you used to be way chubbier in those old photos. Good thing you fixed that." If you react with, "That was rude," why would you say that? You show weakness. If you respond with, "Good thing you met the upgraded version," relaxed, smiling, you show ease and self-acceptance. If you fail her tests regularly, she tests more. She starts to feel like she's the stronger one emotionally. She doesn't want that. She might like control in the moment, but long-term, she needs to feel that you're solid, not fragile. Here's the key. A test is a bid for emotional strength. Most men don't understand this. They think she's being difficult, unreasonable, or playing games. But what she's really doing is checking, can this man handle me? Can he handle life? Can he stay calm when things get chaotic? Alpha men handle tests so well that they barely get tested anymore. Because once she knows you're unshakable, she stops needing to check. But here's what breaks most men. They think that responding to her tests with logic will work. It won't. Logic doesn't calm emotions. Calm confidence does. The frame you need to hold. Her test is not a threat. It's an invitation to show strength. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is where men give away their mystery, their depth, and their masculine edge. All in the name of being open. And it costs them everything. Trap 36, oversharing too soon. Honesty is attractive. Oversharing isn't the modern dating world. Loves phrases like be open, share your truth. That's good advice, at the right dose, at the right time. But dumping your deepest wounds on a woman who barely knows you? That's not vulnerability. That's emotional exposure. Example, on the first or second date, she tells you about her heartbreak story, how her ex cheated, maybe her difficult family history. You feel a connection. You think, she's being real. I want to match that energy. So you start sharing. Your childhood pain, how lonely you feel, how your ex destroyed you, how you're afraid of being cheated on again, your financial stress. She might feel empathy for you, but attraction drops. Why? Because she doesn't know you well enough to hold that emotional weight. You've given her deep access before she's built any track record of loyalty or support. Plus, when you overshare fears and vulnerabilities without the accompanying victories, she goes into mom mode. Mother mode kills lover mode. You get attached early, she backs away, you feel abandoned, she feels smothered. You think, women say they want honesty, but they can't handle it. She thinks, that was too much, too soon. Just the tip. Be honest, but don't be an emotional tap left running on date number 2. Alpha men let depth grow over time. They let her earn the deeper layers of them. Here's what most men miss. Vulnerability without strength is just weakness on display, but vulnerability combined with proven competence, stability, and masculine presence, that's magnetic. The rule? Share your scars after she's seen your strength, not before. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is where men commit to relationships that don't even exist and waste years waiting for clarity that never comes. Trap Shark 5, accepting gray zone relationships. If the status is blurry, you're going nowhere. You have chemistry. You spend time together. Maybe you talk a lot, maybe you're even intimate. But when you ask, what are we? She says, you know, I'm kind of focusing on myself right now. My career, my health, whatever. She expects your attention, your loyalty, your effort, but gives you nothing concrete in return. Example, you act like a romantic partner, but she introduces you as a friend. Ouch. You plan future dates. She avoids future conversations. You turn down other women. You have no idea what busy means for her on Friday nights. You tell yourself, if I stay patient, she'll eventually choose me. Sometimes she does. Most of the time, she doesn't. And when she does, it's never enthusiastically. You become emotionally exclusive, invest heavily, and wait for her. Later, she decides she's not ready. You're left wondering how you missed the signs. Here's the brutal truth. Gray zones are useful for one person and costly for the other. And that other person, it's you. Alpha men avoid the gray zone by not acting like a boyfriend while being treated like a backup plan. They set the standard early. I'm looking for something real. If you're not, that's fine, but I won't be in limbo. Most men are terrified to say this. They think it'll push her away. But here's the paradox. The moment you're willing to walk away is the moment you become worth chasing. The shift. Stop waiting for her to decide. Start deciding for yourself. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is where men sacrifice their standards on the altar of physical attraction and pay the price in self-respect. Trap Thirster 4, the beauty trap. Her face can blind your brain. You're a man. You're visual. Your biology responds quickly to her appearance. There's nothing wrong with that, unless you let beauty outrank behavior. Example, she's stunning. You feel lucky to be with her, but you notice she's rude to servers. She cancels last minute without apology. She talks badly about her friends. She lies casually about small things. Your gut whispers, this is not good. But your eyes and other parts say, but look at her. So you stay. You tolerate mood swings, disrespect, and emotional games. You downplay red flags. You tell yourself nobody's perfect, while ignoring the fact that you'd never accept this behavior from an unattractive woman. Meanwhile, she learns that her looks give her a free pass. Just the tip. Ask yourself, would I accept this behavior from someone I wasn't attracted to? Alpha men never let a woman's looks outrank her character. Here's the hard truth most men avoid. Physical attraction fades, but character compounds. A beautiful woman with ugly behavior becomes uglier every single day. A good woman with average looks becomes more beautiful with time. The test: if she lost her looks tomorrow, would you still want her in your life? If the answer is no, you're not in love with her. You're in love with how she looks, and that's a trap that will cost you your peace, your dignity, and your self-respect. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is where men accidentally train women to treat them poorly and wonder why the drama never stops. Trap Tharker 3, rewarding bad behavior. What you reward, she repeats. Women are masters at noticing what gets a reaction. If pouting works, it gets used. If withdrawing affection works, it gets used. If starting arguments works, it gets used. Men accidentally train women by how they respond. Example: she gets upset over something small. Instead of calmly addressing it or letting her cool off, you panic. You send long texts explaining yourself. You apologize for everything. You buy her gifts to make up, even if you did nothing wrong. She learns. Emotional flare-ups lead to affection, reassurance, and more effort from you. Or she ignores you for days. You double down. You text, you call, you send voice notes. When she finally responds, you're so relieved you drop the issue and go straight into "I missed you." She learns. Silent treatment works. You taught her that. Drama becomes a cycle. She escalates. You calm her down with more investment. She never has to grow emotionally because the system works in her favor. You built the system. Over time, you become resentful. You feel like you're managing a storm instead of experiencing love. The key: reward emotional maturity, communication, honesty, and calm behavior. Alpha men don't reward tantrums, silent treatment, or manipulation. Here's the brutal reality. If you reward chaos, you get chaos. If you reward peace, you get peace. You are the architect of your relationship dynamics. The shift: stop reacting. Start responding with boundaries. When she throws a tantrum, you stay calm and say, "I'm here when you're ready to talk like an adult." When she pulls the silent treatment, you don't chase. You let her sit with her own emotions. Most men are terrified to do this. They think she'll leave. And you know what? She might. But if she does, you just filtered out someone who wasn't ready to be in a healthy relationship anyway. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is where men fall in love with potential instead of reality and wonder why they keep getting burned. Trap Tharker 2, trying to change her. You're not a rehab center. Some men fall in love with a woman's potential, how she could be when his love heals her. But you're not a rehab center. Example: she tells you, "I get bored in long relationships." Or, "I have a fiery temper." Or, "I sabotage good men. I don't know why." You hear confessions, but you also hear opportunity. You think, "I'll be the man she doesn't cheat on. I'll love her into stability." Here's the truth. Her default settings are stronger than your stability. If you ignore her track record, ignore your gut, and invest anyway, eventually the same patterns show up. Jealousy, inconsistency, disrespect, cheating, emotional chaos. You feel betrayed, even though she told you who she was. Just the tip: believe her behaviors, patterns, and history. Alpha men know their job is not to rescue. Their job is to choose wisely. Here's what breaks most men's hearts. They think love conquers all. It doesn't. Love without wisdom is just suffering with a smile. The reality: when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Not the second, not the third, the first. You cannot love someone into becoming who you need them to be. They have to choose that for themselves, and most won't. The shift: stop dating potential, start dating reality. But that's just the beginning. What comes next is the most dangerous trap of all, because it's the one voice that never lies, and the one voice most men ignore. Trap number 1, ignoring your gut. Your quiet bodyguard is trying to save you. Your gut is your quiet bodyguard. Stop fighting it. Stop rationalizing it away. Your hormones can justify anything, but your gut doesn't care about any of that. Your gut just knows. Example: she tells you a story about her ex. Something feels off. You can't quite explain it. Maybe you feel a twist in your stomach. She's secretive with her phone. You notice that. Her mood and attention drop when a certain name pops up. You notice that. You try to push it away. You tell yourself you're insecure, paranoid, that you need to be more trusting. Meanwhile, your gut is screaming, something's wrong here. Pay attention, sir. If you ignore the signals, stay longer than you should. You will get blindsided by a breakup, betrayal, or truth you never saw coming. Then, when you look back, you realize you did see it, but you refused to accept it. Here's the key. If your gut feels tense, heavy, or uneasy over and over again, stop talking it out of what it knows. Alpha men trust their gut. They investigate, they ask questions, they set boundaries, or they walk away. If you actually do have insecurities that need to be addressed, get therapy, do the work. But don't ignore your intuition in the name of being less insecure. There's a difference between insecurity. She's probably cheating because I'm not good enough. Intuition. Her behavior has changed. Something feels off. I need answers. Alpha men know the difference. Here's the hardest truth in this entire breakdown. Your gut has been right every single time you ignored it. Every single time. The girl you stayed with too long, your gut warned you. The red flag you overlooked, your gut pointed it out. The betrayal you never saw coming, your gut saw it. You just didn't listen. The shift. Start treating your gut like the protector it is. When it speaks, listen. When it warns, act. When it screams, run. But that's just the beginning. Because now you know the traps, but knowledge without action is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to level up. The final word, you're not auditioning for her. She's auditioning for your life, gentlemen. Not every woman plays these games. Not every woman runs these patterns. But enough of them do that you can't afford to walk around blind. Your attention, your time, your emotional energy, these are valuable. That's why alpha men avoid these 9 traps when dealing with women. Here's what I need you to understand. You are not auditioning for her approval. You are not competing for her attention. You are not trying to convince her of your worth. She is auditioning for a place in your life. And if she doesn't meet the standard, there's the door. Now, if you want to go even deeper into understanding female behavior through a completely different lens, watch the video that's coming up next. It will shift your entire perspective. And if you found value in this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe, because there's a lot more where this came from. Remember, stay in lead, not in need. Lots of love, big hug, God bless. Now get out there and stop walking into traps. You're better than that.